We're live in the pits of Motorcast. This is your host Dave, and I got on the line with me the Dragon Slayer, alcohol funny car driver, Andy Mears. Hey, Andy, how are you?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm doing good. A little chilly out there in Illinois, but I'm good.
Well, it's a nice 72 degrees in West Texas, so it's been a beautiful day.
So Andy, what got you started in the drag racing?
Oh, I got started when I was 15 years old and just can't seem to give it up. And I've run all sorts of cars. I raced imports when imports wasn't cool. we're a Mazda dealer here in Texas, and I ran the first ever blown rotary engine in 1981.
81. So
yep, had it in a Mazda RX-3, and it would run high nines with an 80 cubic inch motor, and like I said, 1981 is when I built that car.
Then what else have you drag raced in?
Well, when I was 15, I held E-Stock and V-Stock national records in a 69 Scrambler Rambler in E-Stock, and then a 55 Chevrolet in V-Stock. And then I went to a front motor dragster because I thought I wanted to be cool, and I ran that for a few years, but it was an old car and jicky, and I was too young and dumb to really know what I was doing. Quit that for a while. I ran late model dirt tracks and some Solo One stuff, and I got real bad burned in a late model car. Put me in the hospital for a few months and got done with that. Of course, when you're laying in the hospital, you tell your wife silly things like, I'll never get in a race car again. And by the time I got out, I convinced her I meant dirt track, so I built the Mazda drag car, and I ran a couple of those and built another rear-engine dragster, and I had an accident in it and broke my back, so I spent a year in a body cast and 3 or 4 years not racing, doing anything, and started helping a friend with a Altered. And after about 3 years of crewing on his, I came home one day and told my wife I was getting another car. And I wanted to build a funny car, and of course all she had ever seen is John Force and Cruise and them blow up and catch on fire, and she's like, oh hell no, we're not doing that. So I built a rear engine dragster and ran it for, as a matter of fact, still own the car, but ran it in Top Dragster and in the Southwest Superchargers group around here, and told us, look, I want a funny car. And we talked about it, and I said, I'll make you a deal. If I ever find a 57 Chevrolet funny car body, I'm going to build it. And about a year later, a body popped up, and I called her, and I said, what are you doing this weekend? She said, nothing. I said, well, pack a bag, we're going to Wisconsin. Then we went to Wisconsin, picked the body up, built the car, and just been having an absolute ball with it.
Now, when you drove the front-end dragster and the rear-end dragster, what was alcohol or nitro?
Both of them are alcohol, blown alcohol.
So you're a blown alcohol guy.
Yeah, of course, I watch the nitro guys, and of course, you always want to put it in there, but I'm a one-person guy. Me and my wife ran this rear-engine car, just me and her, for 5 years. And it's just I can't afford to do the nitro, and I can't do the maintenance on the nitro and keep up with it myself. And we're not hurting parts. Scott and Dickey Performance Center built the motor in it, and it's just been reliable as it can be, and runs fast. We've gone to Bakersfield and run 7.0 Pro with it. And it's low maintenance and a lot of fun, and I just don't. I'm 61 years old. I don't need the nitro anymore. I can go watch them, but I'm not going to put it in the tank.
You don't sound 61. You sound like 23.
Well, I'm 23 on the inside.
Okay.
That's what I keep telling my wife. I'm 23 on the inside.
That's cool.
Then you got a 57 Chevy Bel Air, right?
Yes.
Man.
It's it actually came out of the Tom McEwen mold when Dan Chuck and them built those bodies, and it's number 6 out of the McEwen mold.
That's cool. So, what was I gonna? You said you were in Bakersfield. We just had a tragic accident in Bakersfield over the weekend, huh?
Oh yeah, I saw that. That is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I hate that when anybody gets hurt, crashes, or especially loses a life on a racetrack. It's bad for the sport, but I feel so sorry for his family because, at least he did what he would loved. Like I tell my wife, look, if I go out that way, went out smiling. But I just hate that any tragedy at a racetrack.
Yeah. That's what I was telling some other people. I'm like, well, the only good thing I can say about it is he died doing something he loves doing, like you said.
That's it. I mean, I'd rather go out like that than land in a bed,
Yeah. Someone told me he was so messed up. If he would have survived, he wouldn't have lived a good life anyway.
Yeah, and of course, I've read the reports on it, and apparently nobody really knows what happened. But like I said, it's just, the cars are built safe. There's a ton of safety equipment that everybody gripes about having to purchase, and this stuff like this happens. I mean, I lost a friend last year, actually 2 last year with our group. One actually had a heart attack making a pass. B. Goslin, which was a great driver and a great friend, lost his life, and then we lost another one at a race that hit the guardrail and knocked him out, and basically went wide open throttle to the end of the track, and you just I hate to lose friends, especially that way.
Yeah. Now, Andy, how did you come up with the name the Dragon Slayer?
Okay, I have to be honest. When I picked the body up, it was painted. Believe it or not, this car was painted the way it's painted with the name on it.
And you thought it was cool and kept it?
I thought it was so awesome. I love the colors of the car. Everything. This car had never been down the racetrack. It had been a show car. Mm-hmm. A guy's taking it to car shows. Never been down the racetrack. And it's all paint. It's not a wrap. It's all airbrushed and painted. And my wife and I looked at that, and I looked at him, and I looked at the name. I said, "So what's the deal with the name?" He said, "You can keep it if you want it." And we talked about it on the way home. Thought that's just the coolest thing I've ever seen. So we actually left it.
That's cool. Now, when you started drag racing, did you have any drag racers that were inspirational to you back then?
A lot. Everyone I went to. I race different than a lot of people. I go out there, and I go out to have fun. I go out to visit people and have fun and enjoy myself. And I won a lot of races. Not bragging, but I have won a lot of races in the Southwest Superchargers and with the Heritage deal. But after my wife got me out of my serious mode and to go have fun and enjoy it, we have won a lot. My most memorable race is the Funny Car Chaos. I got to admit, that was probably the highlight of my whole career, which was this year, in September, October, and they had 27 funny cars in Denton, Texas, and we won that race, and that has probably been the highlight of my whole career is that one. And I've won a lot of races, but that one was awesome.
Were you the one that beat the crop duster?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that was another alcohol car.
Yeah. He went out like first or second round. We were lucky. Like any other, I'd rather be lucky than good. We had some luck on our side, but the car was built by Mike Carpenter. My car was. And I always tell everybody the thing about a Carpenter car, it'll go down a dirt road. And my car it was consistent and went down the track every pass and just ran the number every pass. And that's what got us to the final and what won. I won by like 6 thousandths in the final. The car went down the track, had an 11 light, and down the track. You know, and it's just absolute ball to drive. We were at Bakersfield 2 years ago running the 7.0 Pro, and my wife laughs at me. She said, that's the best loss you ever had in your life because it went 690 at 200. And, you know, she said, I've never seen you grin so big to lose a race, you know, because I finally went in the sixes. I'd run 7 flat 3 times, you know, and the air got good, the car got good, and it went 690, and all I did is giggle when I got the 690 time slip.
So what's the fastest you've gone in Dragon Slayer?
That's the fastest. It went 690 at 200. And it's got more in it. I just didn't tune it for that. But the car, when they built the motor, they said the car ought to run in the 670s if I want to tune it up. There's no need. I run off of an index class. We run 465 with an 8th mile with the Heritage. I run the California Independent Funny Car with James Maher and them in Tucson a couple of times, a Super Chevy, and they run off a 750. And then I ran 7.0 Pro in Bakersfield a couple of times, but the car does it so easy. You can just basically dial it to a number, and because there's no electronics, there's not a computer on this car. I have no data acquisition. I have no anything. It is strictly me and my crew. That's it. We don't have any data or anything. So I'm kind of proud of that, to be able to go out there and tune the car to run the number basically out of our head, not a computer telling me what to do or throttle stops or grid controllers or anything. It's all us.
Right. So how many crew members do you have for the car?
Me, my wife, my cousin, and his brother-in-law. We got 4 total.
Now, do you have any other like drag race drivers that were inspirational to you?
I liked them all. My dad used to laugh at me. My father's the one that got me into drag racing. He's when I was young, he asked me, he said, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to drive race cars. I mean, I was a kid at 6 years old running my Hot Wheels. I built drag strips. You know, that's all I cared about was drag racing since I was a little kid. And but he always laughs at me. We went to Amarillo to the Nationals, and this was in the 70s, I think, early 70s, maybe in 60s. When there wasn't a national event every weekend, there was like 4. And I went to Amarillo, Texas, and saw Jungle Jim Lieberman run with Pam Hardy there. And my father said, all I did is watch that and say, if that's what drag racers get, I'm going to be a drag racer. And like I said, I don't know really what got me into cars. We've been in the car business all my life. I've been around cars all my life. But drag racing since I was a little kid. That's all I cared about was drag racing.
Drag racing is in your blood.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, my father asked me when I was young what I wanted to do. I told him I wanted to race cars. Well, at 15, we built a 55 Chevrolet. And for V stock, and we built the motor. We built it in our garage and put it in and said NHRA and IHRA national records with it. And I won a lot of events with it back then. And then we had a trade-in of a '69 Scrambler Rambler, which is an ugly little car, but it was produced by Hurst. It had a Borg-Warner 4-speed in it, Hurst disc brakes, and a 390. And we traded for it at the dealership and drove in and thought, man, that's the fastest car I've ever driven. So we rebuilt the motor on it, went through that, and went out and set E-Stock national record with it. And I raced it for years till the class racing around here dried up, and then I just started bracket racing it.
Yeah. So what was it like to get behind the wheel for the first time drag racing?
It came natural. It didn't scare me. It didn't bother me. Now, when they showed the body on the funny car the first time, I got to admit, because I've run mid sixes at 200 in the rear engine car, and no problem. But when I took the funny car out for the very first time, fired it up, and they lowered that body, and I, honest to God, sit there and thought, what the hell am I doing here? And, we carried it to Tucson because it's early in the year, and so I carried it to Tucson, nice weather. I made 4 hits on it down there and just thought, this is the coolest thing I've ever driven in my life. And it gives me the giggles every time I get in it. It's fun.
Now, when you get behind the wheel of the funny car, do you feel younger?
I'm always young in a race car. Yeah, when they close that body, it's just, I don't know, my mind goes to a different place. It's just so much fun in that car. And I gotta say this, it's the fact that it's what car it is. It's not just a funny car, it's a 57 Chevrolet.
Right.
And ego does part of that, because the crowd loves it. The kids love it. I spend, fortunately, I've got a great wife that helps. She services the car. She knows what to do. My cousin and his brother-in-law basically take care of the car when we get back to this, which isn't a lot, but there's some service that has to be done. My wife helps me pack the chute. And then I spend all the time talking to people and signing autographs and talking to the kids. Because the kids love the Dragon. Guys my age think the 57 Chevrolet's cool. And it's a real attention getter when you take it out. People love it.
Right. Do you put a lot of kids in the seat of the car in the pits?
I won't put anybody in the seat. I guess I'm superstitious or weird or whatever. I'll let them get underneath the body, and I'll show them everything, and I'll talk to them and take pictures and all that. But I have never put anybody else in the seat of the car. That's mine. And of course there's fire bottles and other stuff in there. I don't, that could accidentally get tripped, which you definitely don't want.
Right.
But I don't feel, I'll put them in the seat of my dragster. 20 kids, at a drag race, so I'm sitting in the dragster, and I don't have a problem. In the funny car, that's my area. That's mine, and I don't feel comfortable putting some in it. I don't know, it's strange. They can take pictures of it, they can get underneath and stand by it, they can do anything they want, but they can't sit in it.
Yeah. So what? Do you have any more events this year, or are you done for the year?
I'm done for the year. They had I really wanted to go to the Kentucky race, and they had the same weekend as the Dallas Nationals. And I honestly took my kids to the Dallas race, to the AAA Nationals in Dallas, because we planned on going to Kentucky to the Hot Rod reunion, and it just didn't work out because they had it on the same weekend.
Right.
So we just decided to call it a year. We ended on a great year. I finished number 2 in points. I won the Funny Car Chaos. We won the shootout with the Heritage race. I won the big shootout there and finished number 2 in points. I said, that's a great year. I think I'll just stop now.
So now that you have the car back at home, do you do most of the mechanical work yourself on the car?
I do all of it.
Yeah. So you like to get down and dirty, huh?
Yeah, I just, like I said, we own a car dealership. I can't work on the new cars. I don't even open the hood of a new car. This I can work on. I can do everything to this car.
Andy.
Me and Mike Carpenter built the chassis. We did everything to the car. I like doing it. I like tinkering. I like messing with the car. But it's something I understand. Late model cars today, hell, they scare me. It's all
Andy.
computer, and I don't understand it.
Andy, shh, listen.
Yes.
Listen. What? Dave, that was my line, Dave. Dave took my line, you fucking little faggot. Anyways, listen. Do you like to get down and dirty with the car? And does your wife like it when you get down and dirty?
She'll go out. Well, okay. Yes.
Thank you.
How about just go yes and leave it at that? Yeah, we'll do that.
Dave, you're sounding gay doing that.
Now, you don't have any sponsors for the car currently, do you?
No.
Are you looking for sponsors?
Oh, I'd always take a sponsor. I don't go out and beat the bushes for them. Good Vibrations Motorsports has helped me as far as with parts and pricing. I mean, I pay for everything I get, but Good Vibrations Motorsports is probably my best help as far as getting parts and pieces. I paid for Jake's Pro Stock car, I feel like. But, nobody's ever come up and said, look, I'd like to sponsor you and do this. And I just don't go beat anybody up for it. I'd love to have a good sponsor.
Right.
Because everything I do is out of pocket. I go race a race, I win, $750,000. It cost me $1,500 to go.
Yeah. So Andy, can you tell us a story about weekend of drag racing? How do you prepare for it?
Well, like I said, the car's pretty simple. The week before the races, of course, I go through there, change the oil, run the valves, check the fuel system, flow the fuel system, check all the fluids, check the brakes, always check the balance on the tires. That's just something I'm real critical about. And my lovely wife will spend 2 hours before every race, and waxes and polishes the body and cleans all the windows and cleans the inside, makes sure it's shiny as it can be. Of course, then after running the valves and doing the oil and everything in the motor, then we do the trailer, which you got to get the trailer ready and loaded and 25 gallons of alcohol and be sure everything's in the trailer and loaded up because it's just me and her. And, I spend about a week prepping the car before a race, just going over it. Because it is a funny car and things come loose.
Yeah.
We're at Bakersfield. I think it's the first year, 3 years ago. I went to Bakersfield to run 7.0 Pro, and the car was really on one and running good. But it got out there about 300 foot and just shook the tires violently. And pedaled it, got it through the troughs, turned off, pulled it back to the pits, and they lifted the body up, for me to get, because I just pull it with the body down, so it doesn't do anything stupid. So we pulled it back to the pits. They lift the body up for me to get out. I get out, I take a step, and we hear a thunk. And my wife turns and looks at me. She says, "What was that?" And I look at the car, and I said, "Nothing." She says, "What was that noise?" I said, "Nothing." She said, "Something came off that car. What was it?" And it was the steering arm. I just run 7 flat at 200 mile an hour, made the turn, pulled it back to the pit, and the steering arm fell off of it.
Wow.
The bolt broke that goes from the pitman arm to the steering box,
Right.
and it fell off when I pulled it in the pits. So I go over every nut and bolt, safety wire, everything, because it's a funny car. It shakes stuff loose, it breaks things, So you have to be pretty critical in looking at everything. Oil cooler mounts, motor mounts, transmission mounts, because inevitably it breaks something, or something comes loose, and you just got to stay on top of it all the time.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite tracks to run on, Andy?
Oh, around here, Denton is my absolute favorite track. Antonio, the Texas Motorplex, which is an awesome track. Noble and Ardmore in Oklahoma, those are great tracks. My favorite track's Denton, bar none. And it's just, I'm a racer, I'm superstitious. We have always done good at Denton. The first race we took the car to was Denton, and I won. And we've always done good at Denton. So it's just got to be my favorite.
Yeah. Now, do you prefer the quarter mile or 8th mile?
Oh, that's a tough question. All the SHRA stuff is 8th mile. Cisco runs quarter. The Super Chevy deal I ran quarter. I like the speed of quarter mile. But as far as close racing, you can't beat 8. You know, I enjoy getting up and running 200 mile an hour. But as far, like I said, the car at 8th mile is just, you know, granted it's only 4.5 seconds, but it's a thrill for 4.5 seconds.
Right. So where do you get your fire suit from, Andy?
Simpson.
Now, with this car, the Dragon Slayer funny car, have you ever had any accidents or any near accidents at all?
We got it a little loose in Shreveport, Louisiana. I got it real loose. And it was just the weather came in, it was humid, and we were running in the finals. And when they lifted the body up for me to get in, the water was running off the body. It was so humid. And I looked at the starter. I said, "We really going down this racetrack?" And he said, "Either go down it or put it up. Don't care." Well, I'm in the finals, and it's a race, so the car had left good, and I clicked in high gear, and I thought, man, we're golden, and then it went every direction but straight. I mean, it went left, it went right. It reminded me of the sprint car days. I was driving the snot out of it, but that's the closest I came. It's the first time the car ever really got mixed up. I really felt good in the fact my wife didn't like it, but I felt good because the car still reacted the way it was supposed to do, and it drove out of it. I drove it out of it. You know, because I had been concerned for a year that if this car gets mixed up, can I get it out of the situation? And, you know, it drove right out. That's the only time I really came close. I did take out a cone at Bakersfield, but that's till the front tires are off the ground. That's the only real time I've ever been in any kind of trouble in the car was in Shreveport.
Right. So you ready for the fun questions now?
Sure.
If someone said, Andy, here's $150 million to go build a racetrack, where would you build it, and what kind of features would you put in it?
I would build one in Lubbock, Texas, and don't need $150 million because I would love to build a racetrack, and I've looked at it. And I'd build it in Lubbock for the only reason that Lubbock is called the Hub City, and the reason is it's 120 miles from Amarillo, 120 miles from Midland, Odessa, 108 miles from New Mexico, 140 miles from Abilene. It's the hub. It's right in the center. You could draw from everybody. And I think we had a racetrack here, and he had it repaved, and they screwed it up, and then long story short, we no longer have a track. And it would be, I mean, I lay awake at night wishing there was a drag. I wish somebody put a drag strip in and let me run it. You know, I would run it for free because I'm a pretty good promoter. I've put on races here when we had drag strips here. And it would be an ideal location. I don't want to be in Dallas or Fort Worth or big metro cities. I want to be in Lubbock and draw, you know, because guys from Amarillo, it's a 5-hour drive anywhere. Same thing in Midland, same where anywhere. But you could go an hour and a half, 2 hours, and be in Lubbock. So you could draw from everywhere in this whole area.
Now, would you put any special features into the track?
Yes, I would. There's a lot of little things I would do to a racetrack that most of the racetracks don't have. I would have a real concession stand. I would have covered bleachers because it gets hot in West Texas.
Right.
I would love to have one that has covered bleachers, so the spectators aren't toast. I'd love to have a place so they could park their cars up next to the fence down track a little bit, so if people want to back their pickups up there and sit on the tailgate and watch, they can. Of course, a video board I think would be awesome, and something that, and a real PA system. I would love to see a racetrack with a real PA system, but I've designed it in my head 100 times, and it would just be. Lubbock's the ideal location. It's the ideal place. And it needs a racetrack. We're 240,000 people. We don't have a drag strip.
Yeah. So, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
I fly competition model airplanes.
Yeah, interesting.
And not the radio control kind. These are the kinds like when you were a kid and you flew them on, for lack of a term, you flew them on the string.
Right.
Okay? Except for what we fly, they're on the 52-foot cables, and they run about 110 mile an hour, and you dogfight them, and it's actually a world competition, and it's too hard to explain in a short period of time. But two pilots go up, you pull a piece of crepe paper behind your airplane, and you try to cut pieces of the crepe paper off the other guy's airplane, and they'll run 110 mile an hour, and it's absolutely, you talk about adrenaline, you're thumping when you're out there doing that, because they will turn in about an 8-foot diameter and never slow down, and they'll go anywhere you can point. And we have flown in world competitions in Bulgaria, Hungary, Germany, Paris, and last year we actually flew in Australia.
So that's the only hobby you got outside of drag racing?
My God, that's enough.
Wait, no fishing?
I'm sorry?
No fishing, no hunting?
I used to fish a lot. Before my father passed away, he had a house at the lake, and we'd go down. Well, I love to fish.
You used to
I just
fish.
don't have the time.
Wow, that's lame. I like fishing.
I know.
It's fun.
Oh, I do too. I really do. But well, my dad had a lake house, so where we could go down there, and I felt like the hired driver. I go down there, and he's got a boat, and he's got the boathouse, and he's got all the stuff. We go down there, hop in the boat, and go out and fish all day. And my wife, that's my wife's favorite sports fishing.
Well,
it's just, yeah.
Well, my story here is the lake's in my backyard.
That would be awesome. Well, that's kind of like having the lake house. They said we had to drive 4 hours to get to the lake house. But I love to fish. I really do. And I need to get back to it some more. But, when we start the season in March and we end in October, there's not much fishing time between.
Man. Now, Andy, if you were able to do time traveling and go back in time, would you do anything differently?
Oh, we'd all do something different. There's a lot of things. There's more things I would keep the same than I would change. Kind of lame, but if I went back in time, I would be a better person. Just all in all, a better person. I would not change my life. I would not trade my life for anything. My wife, my kids. If I had to go back and change something that would change the life I have now with my wife and my kids, I wouldn't change nothing.
How about drag racing? Would you change it? Would you change anything in your drag racing career?
I'd probably try to be a little smarter about it. When I was young, I was like everybody else. You see how fast you can go. It's like the front motor car I bought. Boy, my father got so mad at me because it was, all I cared about is I wanted to go fast, and and the only way to go fast is with the dragster. You know, and I'm 18 years old, and I buy a front engine dragster that I know nothing about, and it was really junky. But you know, all I cared about is I wanted to go fast.
Right.
And you know, not really much I would change. I've had a hell of a good career in drag racing, and the best yet to come. I still got some more years left in me, and so I don't. As far as that goes, no. Except for I'd have probably bought the drag strip when I could have bought it back when I was younger. I wish I would have done that.
Yeah. So, you have a favorite vacation spot?
Jamaica.
Jamaica, man.
The blue ocean.
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's just when we want to get away and forget everything, so your phones don't work and nothing, no computer and no nothing. We'll go spend 10 days in Jamaica and don't hardly get out of the cabin. We do one of those sandals deals, and we get a private hot tub and a private swimming pool, and we just absolutely chill for about 10 days.
That's cool. So, what's Andy's favorite food?
Favorite food, Mexican food.
Mexican food.
Mexican food or steak, and probably that order. I really like Mexican. Actually, I guess it'd be Texican food.
I got a joke for you.
Okay?
Why is the ocean so blue?
Why?
Because the fish go bloop, 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 bloop.
I love it.
Yeah. What's your favorite beverage?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. It's no good for you.
I know. I know. And my doctor tells me that every time I go in, I still drink Coca-Cola.
Okay, I got another joke. What does a ninja order at Burger King?
What does what?
What does a ninja order at Burger King?
What?
A Whopper!
Of course.
You're welcome.
Now we talked about your favorite food already. On a race day, do you have any certain eating habits when you do race, or do you just eat regularly?
I don't eat much at the races. I get my mind on other things, and my wife will shove a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at me a lot of the times. But that's pretty well what I eat at the racetrack is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
So, Andy, what's been your fondest memory of your drag racing career?
Oh, just the memories of drag racing is just the family and friends and all the people I've met. And I have met a ton of them throughout the years. And I've got friendships that have gone on for 40 years just from drag racing. You know, one of the cool things I did, when I built the little Mazda I told you about in 80, my wife threw the magazine, because it was in Superstock magazine. Way back when, she tossed that magazine up here. It has a big deal on the front of it besides my car. It says, Top Fuel exclusive. Garlits goes 265 mile an hour.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy goes 265. You know, and that was a big deal when I was running the Mazda. And now they're going 340. You know?
Yeah. Now, if you ever had a chance to get behind the wheel of Pro Mod, would you do that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll drive almost anything.
Those Pro Mods are getting faster and faster.
Oh, they are. You know, I've got a friend that runs a Top Sportsman car, and I watched him in Dallas, and it's just amazing what they're doing in bodied cars.
Yeah.
Because the Pro Mod's barely a bodied car, but wow.
Yep.
You know, they're impressive.
Yeah.
I see them replacing pro stock in the next few years.
Yeah, they might.
Well, they're a real crowd pleaser. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I think the pro stock guys, there's some dark basement guys there. I mean, they were coming up with stuff that's unreal, and they're going real fast with what they got. But there's no real excitement to the car, you know. Where the pro mods they're on the ragged edge all the time, and people like to watch that.
Yeah, I like the nostalgia pro stocks. They were the long smoky burnouts and the dry hops and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Andy, I want to thank you for your time for the interview tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling.
You got any last words for all the fans listening in?
If you're in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, come watch us run, man. You can't miss a better show than the SHRA is.
And then,
the Heritage Program is outstanding.
And what's the best way for the people listening to find you where all the events are?
The best way is Facebook, like most everybody is, and it's Dragon Slayer on Facebook. And I keep everything up to date and as far as race dates and how we're doing and pictures and this, that, and the other.
Sounds good. Well, I want to thank you again for your time, Andy.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling.
No problem.
Come see me. Come down to Texas and watch us race.
We'll try.
Buddy. Talk to you later.
So, you have a good night, Andy.
Okay, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.